So I'm about to leave the house right now, and I look back at the poll, and Instagram wants the Thunder trucks, but YouTube is still ahead. When I add the two together, it's close, but it's still about the DBX board. So I'm gonna go on ahead and do that one first, and then I'll get on the Thunder trucks right after. What's up, guys? So we have the Krooked DBX deck right in front of me, and I have to say that it lasted a lot longer than I expected, which is honestly really insane to me because it's been about 2 months and some change, and I don't know, I don't have too many bad things to say about this. This deck did not give from the day I got it to the day I stopped skating it. For me, I like to skate a deck and then feel like the deck has like given in just a little bit, so then I have that perfect like from fresh to skated like ratio with a deck where the deck isn't worn out but like it feels broken in. This deck from the first day I got it to right now feels almost exactly the same, minus the fact that I have some razor tail that's pretty serious back there. But if this deck were to have never gotten razor tail, or never gotten razor tail as bad as it has, it would have felt exactly the same as it did my first day of skating it. And for me, I feel like this deck is just a little bit too stiff. The deck not giving made me feel comfortable with doing board slides and things of that nature. And I haven't snapped too many boards on board slides, but I have in the past. But for someone like me who is generally scared of skating any type of rail, whether it's a handrail, flat bar, whatever the case may be, it's good to know that you don't have to worry about, okay, what if your board breaks or snaps or whatever the case may be. I didn't get to trying a lot of tricks on the rail with this board, but I do know that with the way that this board has been holding up, I could go back to the rail and go and try to relearn front lips and try to get back my fakie big spin board and all that stuff. So maybe something I might do in the future, but right now I'm skating a regular deck again, just simply because I wasn't sure that DBX decks are going to be made a lot, and they are on the more expensive side. None of the DBX decks seem to exhibit the same shapes as the other companies. So the Krooked DBX 8.5 seems to have the longest wheelbase out of the 3 brands that are under this DBX construction, which is all the deluxe brands, meaning Anti-Hero, Real, and Krooked. I found that the Krooked 8.5 seems to be on the longer side of the decks than the Real and the Anti-Hero. Now, it could just be that I picked up a longer wheelbase 8.5, but who knows at this point. I got this Krooked deck from the first batch of DBX decks that came out. I know that the DBX decks are doing really well. They're starting to release more and more batches, and I just found that the Krooked one compared to Kevin Nice Try's 8.5 Real DBX feels longer and a little bit wider on the wheelbase. But that also just is me looking very deeply into this board setup and all that stuff. I think personally I want to try to go back down to 14.25 wheelbases, and I haven't skated a 14.25 wheelbase in forever. A lot of my wheelbases have been 14.5, but I felt like this deck, and when I compared it to my Faces deck, it's just a little bit longer, maybe by an inch or two or something of that nature. It's just a longer deck than what I'm used to skating, so the wheelbase felt a little bit wider in my opinion, but that's just me looking way too like analytical into the deck. All although this board does hold up, this board is expensive. This is retailing at $115 before tax, which is definitely the highest I've seen a impact resistant board. And while this board has materials and things like that that make it a little bit more durable in my eyes, I still feel like this is very expensive for a deck. And I think you will get more life out of this deck than any other deck. I haven't skated a deck this durable before, or that had lasting pop as long as this deck, so that is pretty sick. But still, $115, that's, boards are being sold somewhere between $70 and $80 on average right now. That's still an extra, what, 35 bucks or more that we're adding to a deck. And what if you do end up with a deck that like doesn't skate the way you like? So I think that it's a huge commitment to skate a DBX deck. I think it's worth it, especially if you break boards a lot, but that is another con that I think is huge. As far as another pro, I've put this board through an immense amount of razor tail, as you guys can see right here. Hopefully you guys can see it. Hopefully I'm not being dumb with the camera. But this deck has gone through a lot of razor tail, and I kid you not, I was still able to pop pretty firmly off of the tail at this point. This is through 1, 2, 3 of the 5 layers that the DBX has, which would be something more like 4.5 or 5 layers of a regular deck. It's pretty deep through there, and it's a lot of deck and tail shaved off. And I gotta say that to still have as much pop as I did have with this deck from the tail, and to even have as much on the nose has a pretty good amount of razor tail too. It's about 2 layers going on 3. That's insane. I don't know how volcanic ash, rock, whatever the case may be, to put together this DBX makes that happen, but I do know that is the best impact material I've skated, and it lasts the longest, and it's just reboundy without it being like, let me pop back up you after you miss every single trick type of deal. Like, it's a perfect blend of rebound, pop, and durability, and because of that, I was able to skate this deck as long as I did. Personally, I'm gonna be real with you guys, I just got bored of the deck. And that's the main reason why I stopped skating the deck. It's not that I'm looking for the perfect deck every single time, but I like looking at new things. And although I have the most colorful graphic grip in the world, even when I just have a black sheet and a dope graphic on the bottom, after a while I just want to see something different. Now, this is going to be my backup board regardless, because it still has so much life in it, which is insane for me to say with a deck with that much razor tail. But this will be my backup deck, because also another cool and huge pro I gotta give this deck is that I left this deck with my trucks and wheels in my trunk during the 2 hottest weeks of July, and brought it back out, and it didn't lose its shape, it didn't warp, it stayed really sturdy and kept its shape, and I still had really, really good pop. As much, I couldn't say the same thing for my bushings. My bushings definitely went through some problems, but the deck itself lasted that whole entire 2 weeks in the trunk, just being in the trunk. And I continuously left it in the trunk on purpose. I would skate it here and there, but like, there would be 3 to 4 day stretches of me not skating with this deck just in the trunk, and it lasted. I also left this deck in the trunk 2 weeks after I stopped skating it, just to see how it would do, and it still has its shape, still has its form, still has its pop. Like, that's pretty solid to be hearing this on wood floor and feeling the rebound throughout the whole deck. Like, I don't know, this is a very durable deck, and I have to give it props. I have not skated anything this durable with this much pop and stability in a long time. The weight of a DBX deck is probably 2/3 the weight of a regular deck, and I love the fact that this is light. It feels like it's a size 8 in my hands, but this is definitely an 8.5. So I was able to get my pop up and really work on tricks that I wanted to get off of the ground, and that for me was sick. I had a lot of cool sessions on this deck, and overall I just didn't have to worry about my deck throughout the sessions and if it would pop or if pressure cracks would happen. And that's another really dope thing. Throughout the entire life of this deck, I never got any pressure cracks, and I skate a little bit of impact. Nothing crazy. I could put this board back on and skate some more impact if I chose to, but like, simply just having this deck around lasting this long is absolutely insane to me, and I have nothing more to say other than real, Krooked, and Anti-Hero put out a really good product. Now, I do also want to test skating a flight deck in the future. If you guys are interested in seeing that video, let me know in the comments, and I will do what I think is the final impact resistant board that I have not skated. Back in the day, I skated Dwindle's impact decks. They did not really hold up in durability. They had great pop, but the durability was not there, so I still snapped majority of those decks. I skated Santa Cruz VX decks, and the VX decks had really good pop. The rebound's a little bit scary with that deck, but I really didn't like landing Primo on that deck at all. Like, that Primo was absolutely ridiculous, and I think it's because the amount of rebound that came back. I landed Primo on this deck. Primo still sucks on this deck, but not as bad as it did for the VX. And the impact boards, I never really experienced any like impactful Primo, like jumping off of something in the Primo, because those decks normally didn't last me more than like a week or two at the time when I was skating those decks. So with that being said, I think I have DBX on the top of my tier list right now, with the Santa Cruz VX falling second, and then the other Dwindle impact decks, all from all the different companies I skated them from, are just at the bottom there. So if you guys want to see me add a flight to that and give my overall opinions versus like the DBX deck that's still here and things of that nature, let me know in the comments and I will go look for a flight deck. That's it. As always, it's Jay Skate Day. Hopefully you make today your day, and I will catch you guys in the next video, and I will definitely get that review of the T2 Thunders, because I have a lot to say about that truck and it has left me very puzzled on what I want to skate going forward. So if you guys want to see that video, also let me know in the comments below. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace out.
And I just fall.